What's up, algebra class? So the next thing in the equations unit is proportions. Now, this is again review. You did some of it last year, but we're gonna start with kind of a basic, what you should know, and then we'll start with an easy example, and then do one a little bit more difficult. So a proportion, you know a proportion as something like 2/5 is the same as 6/15. Okay, those are proportional. Okay, if I were to multiply the 2/5 by 3, I'd get 6/15. Okay, they are proportional. That's what makes them a proportion. The other thing you might have seen is something like x/4 is equal to 6/8, and you had to find what x was. Well, without doing the whole equation behind it, which we'll talk about when we get to the first example, you would look at this and well, like I just multiplied 4 by 2 to get 8. So whatever this is times 2 equals 6. So that must mean x is 3. Okay, and there's this whole cross multiplying thing which we'll talk about. That was the basics of proportions. Okay, so we're gonna do two examples, one easy, one a little bit difficult. So let's do it. So example 1, we have x minus 4 divided by 5 equals x/7. Okay, so some people refer to this as the butterfly method. I call it cross multiplying because that's what it is. Okay, but we're going to cross multiply. What that means is I'm going to take the top on the left, I'm going to multiply it to the bottom on the right, and the bottom on the right, and multiply it to the top on the left. So I'm going to draw the butterfly thing. Okay, so the first one, we have 7 times x minus 4. You could do x minus 4 times 7, but just make it so it looks more math-like, I guess. Okay, so we have 7 times x minus 4. 7 parentheses x minus 4 is equal to, and then we have 5 times x, which is just 5x. Okay, if at any point you need to pause it, just pause it. So we get this. Now I just solve it like an equation. Okay, I got variables on both sides. We just got done doing that, so you should know how to do it. Distribute the 7 to both. I get 7x minus 28 equals 5x. And then I need to move my variables together. So since I got my number here, I'm going to move my 7x to the left. So I'm going to subtract 7x from both sides. On the left, they cancel. I have negative 28 equals negative 2x. And then my last step, divide by that negative 2. And I get a positive 14 equals x. Okay, most of the time, your answer is not going to be that easy. Okay, so go ahead and pause it if you need to. That's the answer. Okay, and example 2. So here we go. I have 2x plus 1 over x minus 5 is equal to negative 2/3. Now you notice I stacked the variables. That doesn't change anything. It's still the same type of problem. Okay, but this one's just a little bit more difficult just because there's more going on. It's not that bad, still the same steps, just a little bit more work in between. So I'm going to cross multiply 2x plus 1 times the 3. Okay, now this negative. Okay, some people will be like, oh, where should I put the negative? I normally put it with the first one. Okay, so this is the first one I'm doing. So I'm going to make that 3 the negative. Okay, so negative 3 times 2x plus 1 is equal to. Okay, and I'm going to cross multiply x minus 5 times the 2. So 2 times x minus 5. Okay, again, if you need to, just pause the video. Okay, variables on both sides, just like example 1, except we got distribution on both sides. Again, it's the same steps, just a little more. So I'm going to distribute. I get negative 6x minus 3. On the right side, again, I'm going to distribute. I get 2x minus 10. Okay? From there, decide where you want to move the variable. Well, when I look at this, I'm probably going to move my variable left, just because I like it on the left. So I subtract 2x, same sign, add and keep the sign. I get negative 8x minus 3 equals negative 10. And then we have our basic two-step equation from here. Add 3 to both sides. They cancel. So I get negative 8x equals negative 7. And then from there, we're going to divide both sides by negative 8. They cancel on the left. We get x equals negative divided by negative is positive. So we have 7 over 8. Okay, a lot of times your answer for these problems are going to be a fraction just because it makes you go through the steps instead of checking and guessing. Okay, if you knew the answer was a whole number, well, you could just try 2 and see what happens. Okay, that's the problem. That's all there is to proportions. Okay, this is the hardest thing to get on the test, the unit test, the semester test, whatever you want to consider. That is the hardest thing to get for proportions. Okay, that has to do it for today. Next thing we'll be doing is fractions, which is kind of like proportions, and we'll have a quiz on that later on. Otherwise, be safe out there, and I'll see you next time.